Hello, I'm Mark Dunn, a growth companies reporter on Shares magazine, and welcome to this edition of Share Spotlight, where we're joined by Andrew Newland, the Chief Executive and founder of medical technology company Angle.
Hi Mark.
Hi Andrew, thanks for coming to see us today.
It's a pleasure.
Good. Maybe you could start just by explaining a little bit about what you're doing at Angle.
Yes, well we're focused on a very important part of cancer diagnostics, and that's relating to something called a liquid biopsy, which is a sort of a special name for getting cancer cells from blood. And the great thing about a liquid biopsy, as opposed to the normal traditional solid biopsy, is that it can be repeated as often as you want. So if you can get hold of the cancer cells from the bloodstream, you can then test what's the status of the patient's cancer and make sure they get the right therapies to hopefully give them the best possible outcome.
And of course, there's been a lot of positive news flow in the past couple of years for you guys. And in December 2015, you sold your first device into the commercial market. Okay, so how long can we go before the really big bucks start rolling in terms of revenues? Because you have actually mentioned before that this addressable market is £250 million.
Yes, indeed. That's, of course, the research market. The clinical market for treating patients is much larger. About £8 billion is our estimate of that. But this has been a long time coming. In medical technology, it takes a lot of sustained effort in order to get a system working robustly and reproducibly. And we've been through that optimization stage. And we believe we've actually now got a device which is superbly good at capturing these very rare cancer cells. So as you say, following that optimization, we've now made the first sales for research use. And the great thing is that those customers are actually delivering for us not only revenues, which is obviously beneficial to the business, but they themselves are using the system to validate new applications for treating patients. So it's a virtuous circle. This is the first phase of the major commercialization for Angle.
Gotcha. Now, to take Parsortix, your device, okay, to the next phase, you're going to need to spend a lot more cash, a lot more investment. I mean, how much cash have you got at the moment? Can you give us some idea of your cash burn? And of course, when, if ever, you're going to tap shareholders for fresh funds?
Yes, there's a lot of investment needed. There has been a great deal of investment to get to where we are now. We have, at the half year, which was 31st of October 2015, we had, I believe, £5.8 million of funding there. The important thing is we did a funding round in February of 2015, which was covering a 2-year plan. We're following that plan, we're in good shape, and that is very focused to deliver 3 things. Research use sales, which we've started doing and is now growing as an income base. Secondly, ovarian cancer clinical application, where we've got studies about to start. And then thirdly, FDA Authorization, where we're seeking to be the first company in the world to have an authorized product for harvesting cancer cells for analysis.
Now, the United States of America is an absolutely massive market when it comes to cancer and cancer diagnostics. I know that you guys you've been working with the regulator over there, the Food and Drug Administration. How's that going?
Yeah, well, we're putting a great deal of effort in. As you know, we first made a submission to the FDA nearly 2 years ago. So this has been a sustained effort that Angle has had. And the reason we want to do that is because getting an authorization from the FDA will enable us to sell the product for the purposes of treating patients in the United States. That's number one. But number two, it is deemed to be the worldwide accreditation of a system. And we want to be the first company ever to be awarded an FDA authorization for a system to harvest cancer cells from patient blood. Nobody else has got that, and we're hoping to be the first company to achieve it.
Now, fighting cancer, of course, is a very big market, and because it's a very global market as well, you've got some very, very big companies they're up against. I mean, do you really think you can compete on that global market?
Ironically, those big companies are, in fact, our route to market. We're not seeking to compete with them. We're very fortunate because our technology is a patented technology and Angle PLC owns it. No one else can access that technology. And we have a unique part of the chain. We have the ability to get these cancer cells from the bloodstream, which others can't do. Now, how you use the cells afterwards is the big company domain. So the analytical systems, the very big medtech companies have already got analytical systems in the hospital labs. But what we're doing is providing tissue that can be analysed with those systems. So actually turning it round, we're hoping to partner with those big companies and offer them new sales potential for their existing install base. And they will then offer us good distribution channel and support as well. So there's plenty of opportunity for commercial deals with those companies.
Okay, and have you been in conversations at the moment with some of these companies in the early stages?
We have got some conversations going with those companies. We're actually, primary focus is getting the patient studies completed, as I mentioned, for ovarian cancer and also for the FDA. But once that's done, it makes absolutely perfect sense for us to align with those big companies. We've already got 2 collaborations under development. In addition, the big pharmaceutical companies desperately need to identify which patients will respond from which drugs, and that's something that can also be done with our system with the cancer cells from the bloodstream. So we're looking for potential partnerships with pharma as well.
Okay, and are all your fortunes tied solely to Parsortix? Have you got other things in the pipeline coming up?
We're absolutely focused on Parsortix. We don't do anything else, so we're completely focused on that. But of course, the breadth is huge. We've got potential in breast cancer, prostate cancer, as well as ovarian, lung cancer, and so on. So there's a very wide breadth of opportunity with that one platform. Hence the reason it's a platform.
Sounds very upbeat, Andrew Newland. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Enjoyed talking.